Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we're going to be looking at why unique selling points do not exist and they are just not relevant in today's age. If you're interested in this sort of content, make sure you are subscribed with your notifications turned on. Let's get into the video straight away. Welcome if you are new here and welcome back if you are not. My name is Johnny Bradley. I'm founder of the Seller Pro Academy, where we help change people's lives one product at a time so ordinary people can create extraordinary things. And today we are going to be looking at why USPs just do not exist in today's age and how they're just not relevant anymore. So of course, make sure you are subscribed here. Make sure you are following me on Instagram as well. Let's crack into the content right now. I'm not sure about you guys, but I watched Dragon's Den as a kid growing up. In the US, this might be Shark Tank, like the equivalent, and I would watch this like every single week and I absolutely loved it. I still love the program now. And the whole point of, if you've never seen Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, the whole point is entrepreneurs would go in, they'd pitch to 5 investors. I think it was 5 or 6 investors, people that had a lot of money. They would then ask questions and eventually have the option to invest in their business and form a negotiation there. And quite often the pushback on why they would not invest would say that there's nothing unique about the product. There's no unique selling point. And for a long time, that's what I believed. You need to have a USP to be successful. But in this video, I'm going to explain to you why actually USPs kind of don't exist anymore. And even to very recently, I thought they did exist until I had a conversation with my friends and I was like, no, this is a USP. And he was like, no, that's not. Let me give you an example of a USP that then turned into not a USP, and I'll just explain to you how it works, right? So when the iPhone came out, right? Obviously not this one, the iPhone 3G, okay? When it came out, it was revolutionary, and it combined a full screen touch device with an iPod, internet access, and a phone. And that was revolutionary at the time. If you remember, we all had Motorola Razrs, we had Blackberries, and there was nothing like that at the time. It had a USP, and that's why it was so successful. However, what happened is that because other people saw that it was successful, then they started to copy that USP. At that point, it doesn't become unique, right? So what happens is you have a cycle of innovation. So someone innovates and creates something a little bit different, adds a unique selling point, and then you have imitation where people copy it. And this literally goes around in cycles again and again and again and again. This happens to this day. Innovation, imitation, innovation, imitation. It keeps on happening. However, there's some companies that they don't really have to struggle there. They don't have to worry about creating the biggest innovation because they don't have a USP. So I'm going to use Nike as an example, okay? Nike or Nike. Don't know how you say it. I say Nike because that's how it's spelled. If I ask you what's so innovative about Nike's trainers that makes them sell so well, what's the key feature that makes them sell so well? You're probably going to be really struggling to find an answer because I certainly have no idea. At the end of the day, they're just trainers. However, if I ask you what you think about when you think of Nike, I pretty much bet a lot of money that you're thinking, just do it. And that's not a unique selling point. Nike is huge not because of anything unique that they sell. I'm going to get on to what they do in a second. I'll give you another example first. You want to go and buy a car, right? And you have a choice between, you want to buy a German car, you want to have a Mercedes, a BMW, an Audi. Pretty much, guys, they are the same car, right? They are very, very similar. However, with BMW, it's positioned as a driver's car. As in, if you want the real driving experience, you go and buy a BMW. If you want a technology car, something that's very, very smart, you go and buy an Audi. And if you want a luxurious car, you go and buy a Mercedes. However, all of them have very similar technology. They drive in very, very similar ways, and they're being made of very similar materials. So actually, they don't have a USP, but the way that we perceive the company and the product is how it has a unique selling point. right? So instead of having a USP, these companies, some of the biggest companies in the world, that actually really don't have USPs, because it's always going to be innovation, imitation, innovation, imitation. They're never going to have a USP. Instead, they have something called an OESP. Now that stands for a owned emotional selling point. Okay, owned emotional selling point, OESP. And this is what I want you guys to use when you're creating your companies, your products, and your brands. Of course, you need to stand out. I'm not saying that you don't need a product that is actually good and serves the customer, but more importantly than that, you need an OESP. And this is what it is. An OESP is something that is used to create emotion in the customer, an emotional attachment to the brand and to the product. Because you can't say, your tagline, for example, can't be, we have the best material, right? Or we have the best trainers, or we have this special feature. That's never going to work, because first of all, it's finite. You know, what happens when you release another product or a different line of products? It becomes obsolete. Instead, just do it is an emotional attachment that you have, and it means something to you, and as it does to me. And these may be very, very different. It's subjective to the customer's perspective. And what happens is that people form emotions with a company and with a brand. The same happens with BMW, with Audi, with Mercedes. People are passionate that Audi is a more technological car than a Mercedes, when in actual fact it's basically not true. It's because they position themselves as technology. It's like, what's their tagline? So BMW, the ultimate driving machine. This is their tagline. This is like their company ethos. And this is something that they hammer through to you in all of their advertising, all of their marketing, the ultimate driving machine. So that people think and people believe that it is a better driver's car. It responds, it means a customer that wants that emotional feeling of being a driver, being in control of the car, feeling the road, they're going to go and buy a BMW. With Audi, I can't say this, Vorsprung durch Technik. I'm sorry to anyone that is German. I assume it's German. I don't even know if it's German. Translated to being ahead through technology is in their ethos of their company, being ahead through technology. So if you're someone that wants to have the most technical car and you want to feel like you have the most technical car, you're going to go and buy an Audi, right? Even though the technology is very similar to a BMW and a Mercedes. Mercedes, their tagline is the best or nothing. You know, if you're someone that wants to feel like you're in luxury, then you would probably go and buy a Mercedes. I have a Mercedes. I like Mercedes. I don't know why. BMW, so I have a Mercedes C63. A BMW M4 is just as good. It's just as good car, just as fun, both rear-wheel drive, very, very similar technology inside. But for some reason, I was drawn towards Mercedes because I like that sort of stuff. There's two things that you're going to need to create an OESP, owned emotional selling point. The first is a cause that's greater than your brand, that's greater than yourself, right? When you look at Nike, it's just do it. When you have these car brands, then they're all based upon the customer's feeling about what they want. If you look at even my brand Hydrofuel, right? So on here, on Hydrofuel, the tagline, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but it says fuel your future. Okay, it doesn't say we have an app, we help you hydrate, because that's obsolete. That'll be obsolete as soon as we release another product and it doesn't have those things, then the tagline becomes obsolete. The tagline isn't we help you hydrate, it's fuel your future, which means something completely different, even if we want the customer to hydrate. At the end of the day, we want them to hydrate, we want them to feel healthy, we want mental, physical performance, but we want to fuel their future. And I asked a friend about this. I said, when I was coming up with ideas for this video, I said, what do you think of when you think of Hydrofuel? And he said to me, fuel your future. And I said, what does that mean to you? And he said, it's about being in my peak performance level. I was like, incredible, because that means something completely different to one person than it does to someone else. And that's what you're trying to go for. You're trying to offer the customer a new opportunity rather than just a better solution. Like a USP is like a better solution, but what you want to offer them is something that is actually unique and a new opportunity. right? And new opportunity to fuel their future, to just do it. So the first thing is you want to create something that is greater than yourself. Another example of this would be what I have for my training business is my tagline, guys, you probably know this, is you're just one product away. It's not I have the best training or I have loads of modules that teach about Amazon, because at the end of the day, I might not have the best training, but what I do stand by and what I truly believe and what I want other people to believe is that you are really one product away from changing your life, or one product away from going on holiday, one product away from doing this, one product away from doing that. And that's my emotional selling point. That's my own emotional selling point. So I really believe, guys, that if you want to create something that's truly incredible, you want to be able to change people's lives, you want to be able to help your customers and really, really serve them, then of course have the product or the service that actually helps them and provides them with a solution that works for them and is better than your competition. Of course, you have to do that. I'm not saying don't do that, but couple that with an owned emotional selling point, and those two things combined become really lethal and really help you stand out in a marketplace where most people just don't do it. The second thing you have to do, okay, is you own it. You absolutely own it. So the first thing, you come up with it. The second thing, you own it. Otherwise, it's not an owned emotional selling point. And the idea behind this is that everywhere, this is a customer facing thing. If you can put it on your product, put it on your product, put it on your website, put it on your listing, your pictures, put it on your box, put it on your marketing, put it at the end of your emails. Own that statement, and you want to get it out there. You want people to see it. You want people to read it, because the more times that people see it, the more familiar it will actually become for the customer. And then when they ask for a recommendation, they're at dinner and they're chatting with their friends or their family, and one says, hey, do you know a product that will be able to do this? And then your customer, right, says, yes, oh my God, there's this incredible company, blah, 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 blah. Because so they formed an emotional attachment with your company and your product through your owned emotional selling point. Now, owned emotional selling points, of course, you could have them in your tagline, you could have them in your mission statement, you can have them basically absolutely everywhere. And you even want to think about this as part of your brand name. So guys, if you want me to do a video about naming brands and about how to kind of name your brand to kind of tick off the list and make sure it's as good as possible, let me know down in the comments, and I will start planning that video today when we release this video. Remember, USPs don't exist, okay? Because you're always going to be imitated. If you innovate, you get imitated, and it's just a cycle that keeps repeating, and it's an ever-ending cycle. To really stand out, to really perform in the market, you're going to need an OESP, an owned emotional selling points. If you have enjoyed this video, I would love it if you are subscribed with your notifications turned on. Make sure that you're leaving any comments, any questions down below. Like the video, make sure you're following on Instagram and doing all that good stuff. Just get it everywhere. If you haven't seen it already, I have the One Product Strategy book, which is just nearly going to come out very, very soon. But it may, obviously, depending on when you watch this video, it may already be out. There's a free book that you can get, which teaches my whole strategy and all of this kind of theory really in depth. It talks about OESPs quite in depth as well, and brand names and a whole bunch of other stuff. Then go and get that. It's 100% free. The link's going to be down in the description somewhere. And remember, guys, you're just one product away.